This video will show you what we did on our second day in Malacca. Here we're flying over the Straits Mosque, which is over the Strait of Malacca. We are staying over the hotel on the left, which is the Holiday Inn. It's a pretty convenient hotel since the bus tours drop you off there. Just up the road from the Red Square is Famosa, which is a port built by the Portuguese. The entrance is just up the road from the Mega Mall, as well as the Red Square. Here's some of the views from the top of Famosa. To the left is the St. Paul's Church, and it has some great views here of the city. This is the ruins of the Church of St. Paul, which was originally built by the Portuguese in 1521. It's a nice place to take some photos because it's on the top of a hill, and you get some views overlooking Malacca, both the old town and also the more modern part of the city. What's convenient about Malacca is it's actually really small, especially the tourist area. Here we're going down to the Dutch Museum, also Red Square. These sites are all within around a 2-minute walk of each other, just down the hill. Now, if you've seen the first part of this vlog, this may look familiar. It's the entrance to Jonker Street, and that's where all the night market and eateries are. This was a pretty highly rated cafe. There are a few down this street, and we chose this one for our first stop. I chose to get orange juice, not much of a coffee drinker. Then she got some coffee as well as some pastries. We also got a sandwich here. I remember the food was pretty good. The next stop here is the Daily Fix. It's probably the most famous cafe or restaurant in the city. It looks incredible as far as the entrance. It's built in an old shop house, and it's got this atrium in the middle. For those who've been to Singapore, we also have some similarities there in our Chinatown and also the Geelong area, which has similar shop houses. We didn't get much here since we already ate at the first place, so we just got spaghetti and toast. In our next visit to Malacca, we'd love to stop by this place, which has laksa and then chendol. I couldn't figure out what this building was, so if you know, leave it in the comments, but it looked pretty impressive. We got caught in the rain and we stopped by this hotel here. It actually looked really good from the lobby, and it was one of the choices we were looking at to stay. It has a beautiful lobby and then a courtyard. You could really picture how it may have been back in the day living in Malacca. After a quick massage to escape the heat, we went to the Baboon House, which is possibly the coolest looking restaurant I've seen. You'll see here it features 2 atriums, and there's plants growing through the roof and going into the actual dining area. Here's some footage from my 360 camera. I know it's noticeably lower res, but it gives some idea of how the entire restaurant is laid out. We got pretty lucky with our seat. This is possibly the coolest seat in the whole restaurant, since it's just under this atrium area. They actually have more tables and more parts of the kitchen in the back as well, and it looked even cooler. In our next stop, we stopped by this Malaqa House Museum. So Malacca actually has a population of Peranicans, which my understanding is they're half Chinese, half Malay people, and they were traders in this area back in the day. And they're primarily owning these shop houses. You can see these shop houses are pretty well preserved. Some of them became restaurants, and some of them are museums like this one. The entire house was pretty large. It's got to be at least 10 plus rooms, plus a courtyard in the back. The museum featured a few photos from the recent past, as well as some older items, probably owned by the owners of this house. After the museum, we stopped by this shaved ice place. I got some chendol, it's pretty good, and also some mango flavored ice cream. The shop itself was on Jonker Street, so you get a view of all the people and cars passing by. After that, we continued down the river to the river cruise. So in Malacca, you'll see a bunch of these boats floating down the river, and the river cruise itself is around 200 to 300 meters from the old town. Most reviews say to take this cruise at nighttime because you'll get to see a lot of the bars and restaurants. However, during the day you get to see things a bit more clearly, and when we went there were actually a lot of people already at the restaurants by the side of the river as well. The cruise continues out of the old town around 20 to 30 minutes down to the other parts of Malacca, and then it turns around. Here's the end of the cruise where they drop us off at the pier where we disembark. This boat is actually a maritime museum, and it shows a restoration of a Portuguese boat. The There's also a tower or observation deck, but we didn't go here since our hotel already had a pretty good view, and plus I had a drone to get some shots as well. Here we are heading back to Jonker Street. We're heading back for dinner near the Old Town. You can see here it's pretty crowded. The street vendors are setting up for the night market today. So there are a few restaurants that serve Peranakan food. This one was just one that had an opening. We recommend booking in advance if you'd like to get any of these Peranakan restaurants, especially during a busy weekend like this one. The food here is designed to be shared family style, and you can see the prices are around 30 to 40 ringgit, which is around 6 to 8 US dollars. Our last meal of the day is at this Hollywood-inspired place called GravyBaby. Funny name, but they offer pies and then also some fries. It's a pretty heavy food though, so I'd recommend saving your appetite for this place. After that, we headed home, passing by some of the sites like the river cruise and then some of the bikes or tuk-tuks. The last thing we saw was this more local night market. You can get some local food, and then a few of the stalls have some clothes. This is the last drone flight of this trip, so I fly over our hotel, over the Straits Mosque at the beginning of the video. Here's a view of the full night market. It's essentially one street in this area, plus the food market right next to it. If you've made it this far, thanks for watching to the end of this vlog, and still have day 3 coming up.